Or maybe I should have led in with music. Let me try it with music. What do you think? This or boom, here I am. Boom. All right. Okay, I'm going to talk about something kind of mean. So have a good time with the music because I'm going to yell at you. Boom, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, now I'm really in the back. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm back in the, I'm back being mean. I want to be mean today. Back in the mean mood. You know, I want to talk about something that's kind of been, I guess, on my heart today, and really it was a part of a big theme of my meditative walk, and that is when you talk about spiritual things, so often, you know, every group has their own little, you have to say like 4 or 5 words, or if you don't cover those words, they discount you. Like, for example, those who worship success, you know, you have to really lead with how what you're saying is going to be 5 steps to success and the money you're going to make, and you know, they worship success. And then there's other people that are, let's just say, very churchy, that they're, you know, if you don't use the language of their denomination, you know, pretty quickly, they tune you out. And you know, I think one of the things that happens about 25 or 30 is we get in this habit that our circles are first of all, we're not thinking much after 30. We've basically, you know, we kind of peaked at 20, and then 30, we're basically just, you know, zombies, and we're just doing our jobs, and we're, you know, in relationships, and we're not really developing. And then, you know, the church people, you know, they're a little worse. They're kind of my people, so I'm going to kind of be mean to them, even though they're kind of my people. You can always be mean to your own people, so I can always be mean to Oklahomans. I could always be mean to church people. Republicans, I can't stand. I used to be a Republican. I'm actually a registered libertarian. So what's my point? I'm going to talk about something that really can benefit everybody, and that's the word development. Earlier in another video, I was talking about evolution. You know, we all want to evolve. You know, who doesn't want to have a better life and wants to evolve? But yet, when we start talking about evolving, we often like the idea of progressing, but nobody really knows how to develop. And you know, then you start talking about development, and you know, like, for example, when I'm, you know, here I am 40 years old, and I learned to ski at 40 years old, you know, and see what, I'm back. Okay, so, you know, learning to ski, I had to develop skills, and I had to develop them pretty quick, and you know, the just learning the equipment. You know, now most people who know how to ski, they learn to ski when they were 12 and 13 and 10 and 5. And, you know, I was literally seeing kids that are 8 or 9 years old skiing with their parents. And, I mean, goodness gracious, it was like, shit. I mean, here I'm 40 and I'm learning to ski, and there's muscles I'm having to learn to develop, and I'm falling, and, you know, and I mean, all kinds of little things I'm learning. And talk about a self-esteem, you know, there's teenagers. I remember one example. I was in Durango, and you know, I'm literally doing the pizza thing where you're trying to learn how to ski, and there was like this teenager, and they built a jump, and this guy was doing a fucking backflip, you know, and it's like, holy shit. I mean, this kid is doing a backflip on skis, and I'm just trying to pizza. And you know, it was both humiliating and you know, and I try to film it so I can show Jordan, my son, and you know, say, Jordan, this is what we got to come out here and ski, and hashtag MRA. But where am I going is, you know, we all can accept that I had to learn and develop to ski, those ski skills. And I'm still, you know, next season I'm going to get better and better. And, you know, there was even one time I kind of had a miniature accident. I had to kind of nurse a knee for a week or so. And it's one reason why I love Colorado. Just skiing's amazing out there. And so, you know, we can all talk about I had to develop skills for skiing, but you know, who's talking about developing spiritual skills and learning how to develop spiritually? And the answer is very few people are. You know, I don't know many people who are saying, let me talk about some skills that I'm learning. And so that's why I'm kind of stepping in this space, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I am. I don't know if I'm a pastor, a speaker, apostolic guy, prophet, rambler, narcissist, probably all the above. But the fact is I really, I want to just share my gifts and my skills and my passion with you. And I want to talk about, you know, when we learn spiritual development, man, that's where some beautiful things come in. Like for example, I'm divorced, and through that divorce, I learned so much about relationships that I could bless anybody's marriage with the failure that I learned in my divorce. The problem is when you're divorced and you try to talk to people who are married, they go, "What do you know?" I'm like, "Well, I actually know a lot." Hashtag MRA. I mean, I could help somebody go through a divorce and not make the same mistakes I could. I could tell people, trouble spots. But again, we only like to talk to people who are going to affirm us. And so talking about spiritual development, and let me kind of wrap this up and tell you something that I learned today and just on my meditative walk. And this is sort of one of those spiritual, I would call it like maybe grade 9, grade 10. You know how like we don't expect a junior in college or junior in high school like a junior in college, we expect them to be better than, say, a fifth grader. Okay? A fifth grader, we don't expect much because they're in fifth grade. I mean, there's a development of intellect, there's a development of skills, and there's a development of, we can accept that, if you're a senior in high school, you should probably know a little bit of algebra, but we're not expecting kids to know about algebra because they're kids. So what I'm going to talk about today is a little bit about, let's call it spiritual algebra. And that is development. And that is sometimes God will put you in a place that you're not yet able to hold. Okay? And his purpose is he wants you to rise up, but often the voice of the enemy will cause so much discouragement that you'll start playing down and you'll start playing it safe. And sometimes God will put you at, like for example, go back to the high school example. Like let's say that you're really good at algebra. You might suddenly get this kind of weird thing happen where you're invited to a local college and you're going to have to perhaps maybe you learn about calculus and you're like, holy shit, you'll go in there and you'll go like, man, I'm a fucking idiot. And see, the thing is, you're supposed to think that because it's that, I don't want to say shame, but that I'm a fucking idiot needs to help propel you to go, I need to study harder. Now, you could be the same kid who's a junior or senior in high school, and you can go into that college algebra class and you can go, man, those guys think they're all smart and shit. They're all full, and you're like, you could take the arrogant role, and you can here you have an opportunity to rise up, or you can play down. And that's one of the reasons why humility is so important, because wherever you're at, if you're in a position where God's put you in a place where it's way above you, the enemy's voice, the voice of the ego, the discouraging voices, they're going to be all about like, you're not good enough, God's abandoned you. It's going to be all of that shit. But really what God's doing is he's wanting you to see the land. And once you see the land, you're able to say, this land's good. And then it's meant that higher betterness, if you will, is meant to help you to come up and to rise up. And the things of God are always about developing and rising up. And sometimes in rising up, you got to look around and you got to get out of your little small town and you got to get out of your small little world and you got to rise up and you got to go, dude, you think you're good at business? Go to San Francisco and rub shoulders with some of those people who, man, now that's a whole different level. And, I'm really good at business. I grew a company from zero to just $500,000. It took me 10 years to do it. And, I'm way, quote, advanced than a person who's first year in the business. But, man, I come out here and I'm like, man, this is kind of better than me. And if I'm not careful, I could actually develop a low self-esteem and I could be like, I feel less about myself. But the biblical way to view that is it's time to develop. It's time to grow. It's time to rise up. And sometimes God will show you something that's better than you, not because it's worth more. It's designed to encourage you to rise up. So no matter where you're at, you're going to rise up, you're going to fall down. And I want my voice to be a voice of relevancy. Because, man, growing up, I didn't have any of this shit. I didn't have any true spiritual wisdom. I mean, I had a lot of dogma, and I had a lot of doctrine, and a lot of people telling me about moral shit, but I never really had people talking to me about spiritual principles. You know, I had to get into the 12 steps to learn, man, we need to really look at our spiritual path, and we need to start thinking in terms of progress making, not perfection. We have to aim for progress, not perfection. And you know, even today I want to talk about just development. And if you want to develop your ski skills, man, it takes humility, and it takes a lot of, you know, you're gonna have to get out there. And let me just kind of finish on like a funny story. I remember when the first time in Colorado, I went to ski by myself, and I didn't even have the courage to get out and ski. So I took my skis. I didn't even buy a ticket. I just watched people. And at first, you know, the enemy's voice was like, dude, you know, you're such a fucking poser, all that shit of like, you know. And then I thought, you know, actually, sometimes you just need to go sit at the base of a dream and look at it. And that's Monday. So no matter what you're at, where you're at, whether you're learning to ski or you want spiritual skills, I certainly haven't arrived, but I want my voice to say, maybe I can help somebody that was like me, you know, who's maybe all they're getting is doctrine and dogma and Fox News or something. So anyway, I hope this helps somebody. I would love to hear from you. Americana417@gmail.com. Remember, God's a God of development. God's a God of development. Maturity, which means He wants me to be further next year than this year. Well, change, development. And a lot of times when that starts happening, we have these growing pains. And often, if you're from like bad families or you have bad whatever, you start having growing pains and you start thinking God's abandoned you and that He's not with you. And yeah, man, the voice of the enemy will come in those moments and really be loud. Anyway, hope I help somebody. Remember, God's a God of development. I'm Jonathan, Americana417@gmail.com. You have a good day. Bye.